It's the After the Show podcast, precious.
We don't care, we're about to swear on the air. It's the After the Show, so tune in if you dare. KVJ, get your skate every single day. It's uncensored. We can say what we want to say.
Hello and welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast. Welcome, everyone. Good to have you here today. Got he makes sort of like nice long pause. I'm like, okay, I was going to say, we'll move on to never.
Timing's never been my thing. Well, I thought you were asking us, and then I'm like, is he asking the people?
I did. It was just a long pause. I'm like, okay. Well,
who's he talking to?
I'm like, are we being dicks by not answering him back so that I fuck
talking to
everything
you?
up? Yeah.
Talking to you or talking to me?
Got several emails, people talking about the KVJ moment that lives rent-free in your head. Just odd things that maybe you play back at an odd time that always keeps coming up from the show. And Alberto said, I was listening back to a segment you had last week about KVJ moments that live rent-free in your head. And one for me is the episode from 7 years ago when Kevin had to try to give Aunt Ann an apology. I freaking lose it every time I see that video. The fact that Kevin can't hold it together and turns bright red like a tomato trying to give a sincere apology is hilarious.
We had a lot of great moments with an Aunt Ann.
Okay.
She was a rock star.
Mm-hmm. Also, another one that Alex in Vero Beach said was mine was the video Will Jaybird Get Aroused? It featured a hot dog neck Kev in Virginia grinding on Bird as he sits in a chair and is wearing these thin white see-through pants. Freaking hilarious.
I think we also gave me a Viagra, too.
Yeah, I think it might have been.
We should bring that back. Let's see if the old equipment's still working as good.
We drugged you and then molested you.
You can't drug the person that was like, yeah, drug me, rub on me.
Yeah.
Let's see if I get a boobies.
It's not a drugging if you give it to yourself.
No,
Right.
the problem would have been if I wasn't involved in the bid. That would have been the real drama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are some classics. Also, somebody said, yeah, you got to do the pies galore for Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's kind of like a tradition. We have our holiday traditions. We got pies galore for Thanksgiving and Christmas shoes.
And then we also have the battle rap Aunt Ann does against Kevin during Christmas time.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I think that is pies galore.
Is it?
I think so, yeah. I think the Christmas battle rap's pies galore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a lot of fun stuff coming up for the holidays. Always love that. A little explanation here from Brett on the student loan forgiveness, because for the Feel Good Friday, or it was Positive Call 'em Out, one of the two, but they had said, hey, I went and checked and $140,000 in student loans, gone. How cool is that, huh?
Wow.
He said, yeah, so it must have been the call him out, because on Monday's show, the topic of student loan forgiveness came up. One important piece of context was missing interest for many people who qualify for student loan payments after 20, 30 years. Depending upon the plan, they may have been paying off interest for that entire time. They must make payments every month for the entire time, but for many people, they have paid more interest to the government than their loans are even worth. So interest rates are astronomical, and that's why people can make loan payments for 20 to 30 years and not see their loan amount go down at all. I think it was Barack Obama. Wasn't he like paying on his? He was 50. He was still paying on a student loan. He was like the president. You're like, wait, what? What the heck's going on? That's crazy.
It doesn't make any sense.
There was, one president or something like that of his ilk. So no, taxpayers are not exactly footing the bill for student loan forgiveness, and the government still makes a pretty profit on the forgiven loans usually. I'm not trying to contribute any argument or vitriol about whether it's right or wrong. It's just an important piece of context that gets missed in these conversations. Thank you for that. I do love the context. Because too often context is left out of a lot of these stories today.
I remember I paid off my student loans, and I'm like, holy shit, this is great. And then they kept giving me a bill again, and they were still charging me. That was easy to figure out. That didn't take about 3.5 fucking years to get
It's pretty
finally
annoying,
done. And then they owed me the money back. That was easy to get as well.
Yeah. One comment in the chat room, predatory loans need to be illegal. I don't even know what that is, but I can imagine that.
It's when you take advantage of people that are like, a student.
Yeah.
Like, why would we be taking advantage of a student and making it harder for them? Yeah. It just, people that have no money should not be taxed and given so much bigger bills. It doesn't make any sense. And then you have people that are so rich and their tax bill is zero. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah. It is. There's a lot of unbalanced things financially in our society. That
Somebody
hopefully
bounces
will
a
be
check
corrected.
and then you charge them $35. That's ridiculous. That's so not cool.
Yeah.
You forget to pay your credit card, your Hulk Hogan credit card. They try to fuck you over that way. I get it.
And Jesse, I guess with some context on the story we talked about with the valuation of Mar-a-Lago, that is a story where Trump is on trial in New York. They can, I guess, if you've done what they believe to be shady valuations on your property, the state can bring something up, and they had valued Mar-a-Lago at like 18. Now, the story that I had read, they said that it was the judge that had valued at 18 million. Trump had valued it at 600 million, and there were other people in Palm Beach. The story I read in the Sun Sentinel was that some other people on Palm Beach were kind of freaking out because they're like, wait a minute, if this gets levied in, then people are going to question the valuations on all these properties.
It is definitely worth more than 18.
Yeah,
Come on.
Of course it is.
That judge has some kind of motivation that's not on the up and up.
Well, Jesse's trying to say that that was a number that Trump had used for tax purposes. Then he used the inflated number to value Mar-a-Lago to get loans at better rates, and that's the problem. So if that was it.
If that's it, then yeah, that is illegal.
The story I had said gave the credit of the 18 million figure to the judge, though. So I don't know, but yeah, that would change things if that's the case. But I'll do a deeper dive into that story today to try to understand it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't say on taxes it's only worth 18 million, and then when you go to get the property appraised for like resale value, say it's worth 600 million.
Yeah, so
that's not on the up and up.
So my bringing it up is not to get into politics, it's to get into property
Fact.
valuation on Palm Beach, which, that's what I find fascinating. I always read those articles they have, when people put homes up for sale, what they go for, and then they do that little tour inside the home. It's unreal because, my wife and I would do that Saturday morning walk on Palm Beach, and we'd seen that amazing house. It was the Estee Lauder mansion, and they had kind of a compound where they had 4 houses, and it was right there buddied up right close to the breakers.
The back side of the breakers, yeah, on the side of it.
The house was amazing. We're sitting there talking about how awesome would it be to have that house because you're right on the ocean. It has this huge lawn right there. And then the motherfuckers tore the house down. It was a beautiful house. I'm like, what the hell? It's crazy.
They tear down perfectly good houses to build bigger, badder houses. And to me, it's like mind-numbing that they would tear down a perfectly good house just to build a better one.
It's just so unrelatable to me that
Me too.
It always blows my mind when I read those stories. So I find it fascinating.
Spoken like 2 Republicrats.
I don't know. Like, can't you just... I see where they pick up houses and they put them on a truck and move them. Why can't you pick that house up, put it on a truck, and move it somewhere so somebody else can live in it?
Do it like how they did the Blue Anchor Bar.
Yes.
Right.
I know what you're talking about.
Rebuild it somewhere else. Like, it just feels like such a waste to me.
Right.
They bulldozed it.
You could technically do that. I mean, it's been done before, so it's not like you can't do it.
I don't know. Maybe you get to a certain size, and at that point you can't. Because if you're going to move it, they couldn't. I don't know how many. That house is so big, you probably would have had to chop it into 12 different pieces to fit on a road. You can't, because the one I saw them moving a house, because they're doing that in downtown West Palm now, some of those old historic homes, because they're clearing out for, more towers.
Yeah.
And one of the houses, I saw them moving it, and it was small enough that you could drive it down the road. Like that Estee Lauder mansion, you couldn't drive down the road.
But you could take it apart in pieces, and you could re-put it back together.
You can restore.
That's what I'm saying. You would have to chop it into 12 pieces if you would have done it. It was that big.
Well, what if you did that and then you donated it and then you get a tax break? Like, that wouldn't be advantageous financially?
Yeah, I don't know. It's always so weird because the weird thing about that house, they plunked it down in a neighborhood and they're building all around it. There's a thing, and a friend of mine had told me that if you use a portion of an old house and just build around it, then you get such a tax break. That's why rich people are so smart and they get such great deals. I'm like, I don't even understand that crap. That's crazy.
People are making fun of us saying you just can't move a house like that. But I thought you were able to.
Can't move a house. Yeah, you probably couldn't. That's probably why they tore it down.
But I'm saying technically, couldn't you though? If you like how they did with the Blue Anchor, just you have to restore it a bit. And if you wanted to keep some of it.
That's why I think at a certain point there's a size to it where they're like, it's not worth it. You can't do it. It would be too much.
Size matters.
That's why I think that one house that I saw was a yellow house from downtown West Palm. They did move over into one of those neighborhoods off Dixie.
Oh, they moved that little yellow house?
Yeah, they did move that one. So I
know
saw
the
them
one you're
moving
talking
that.
about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if I had the money and said, I'll get all this money, I want to take the house I have in Palm Beach Gardens, I want the same thing, I want to move it, take it out, and put it out in some land out there in Oregon, same walls and everything. Could that technically happen, or that's impossible? Bird, you're speaking crazy again.
I know they move houses. They move historic houses. So if they can move a historic house, they could move your house, which was built like in the 50s or 60s, right?
61, I believe.
Yeah, I think
Very
they
haunted.
could. I think where there's a will, there's a way. And it just breaks my heart when you see these gorgeous mansions leveled by a bulldozer.
Well, it's crazy. And that's why I was saying, we need a recorrection in our society because, you got people that are tearing down mansions and then you drive a half a mile away and you got 50 people sleeping in a park.
Exactly.
This is crazy.
There is something sad when you see something torn down. There was a place I loved in Lake Park called Blizzards and Burgers, and we would go there.
It's always a food place with him.
We'd always go there. They'd have one queen cheeseburger. The guy was always real sweaty and just worked his ass off, and it was such good food. And I remember being a little kid going,
Because the salt from the sweat.
it was so 1980s bad for you kind of food where you could just feel your health diminishing. That's how good it was. And they knocked it down as a kid. I remember being all sad about it. But it was more than just me looking at one of my favorite places going. There was just a sadness about seeing something get knocked down. It's the end of an era kind of a feeling.
And when it's a perfectly good building, then it doesn't sit well. Like, can't it be rehomed?
And I would do anything to have some Blizzards and Burger.
Wouldn't that be cool to just take that Blizzards and Burgers and put it somewhere?
And I wonder too,
If you had a big piece of property.
if I had that burger right now, does it taste as good as I thought it did, or does it taste like shit? Is it all memories? You know what I mean?
That's the thing. We always talk about that. You have those, and we talk about with movies and TV shows and songs, and you can definitely do it with food. Is it really as good as what you imagine?
Nostalgia taste buds.
Yeah, was it that? Yeah. Was it so good because I was so early in my cheeseburger career?
I guess there's no way to know because they knocked the motherfucker down.
And just like anything, the more you go through life, the more jaded you get. You know, the shine wears off. So, have you already gone through your best cheeseburger years?
Have burgers gotten way better?
Is it nostalgia? Is it shitty burgers? Fuck.
That's too big.
It's too big.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting in the next coming years. We've talked about that. What restaurant would you give amnesty to that wouldn't disappear because, the way people are gobbling up the properties now and changing things. We were talking earlier this week or just yesterday about the Palm Beach Kennel Club. That is going to be going away, and that's going to be a new kind of city place that they're going to be setting up with apartments and restaurants and hotels. And
we should reach out to our friend Teresa over there and just check on her and make sure she's okay because she's been there since we've been here.
Yeah.
And they've been so kind to us over the years. Teresa, all the marketing people, they are so good to us and we love them.
Yeah, the fact that they're keeping that the Roonies are going to hold on to the gambling part of that because it's a license, it makes me hopeful that they'll find a pari-mutuel in a way that they can employ everybody at the Kennel Club.
What does a bird got to do to get rusty? How can I get rusty?
Great question.
Let's talk.
Teresa would be a good place to start.
The little thing
Here
they
comes Rusty around the edge.
chase around.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with that?
They probably still don't have it though because they don't do any dog racing anymore.
No, I think they do.
I think they do have
because
it.
they were doing bring your own dog racing.
I bet they have a bunch of shit would be cool. That's what I would love to see what they're
Before they demo
getting rid of.
Can we take some stuff?
I have a buddy who specializes, especially in local stuff here in Palm Beach County. My buddy JR, at his shop out there in Lake Park, Kelsey Vintage Goods. He kind of he's got all like Lake Worth historical stuff, Lake Park, Gardens, Jupiter stuff. He's got a whole section of historical shit you can buy.
Okay.
There's not much of that stuff out there. It's kind of cool to see.
It's very
He's
cool.
got shit from the 50s and 40s that you go, oh, man, that's what West Palm looked like back then. It's weird looking.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting to see. And, just the time we've been here, it's amazing how much it's changing. And it's changing faster than ever now. So
oh, man.
You blink. If you left and came back in 5 years, you'd be like, going, wait, where am I?
Yeah, that's how it is when I go home to New Orleans and I go back to my old neighborhoods, like where all the strip malls and stuff were. They're totally different. Like, I don't know where I am.
I just talked to my dad yesterday. He went to Pennsylvania to his hometown, and he visited his childhood house.
Yeah.
And the people were very cool and let him walk in and all that.
Wow.
And it was a nice house
Pennsylvania.
growing up.
Yeah.
He said it turned into a dump.
Really?
Yeah. I go, was it weird kind of seeing it look like that?
They just let him walk right in?
Yeah, Pennsylvania. It is the fucking country. Leechburg, Pennsylvania. I just feel like they're those kind of people.
They're trusting people.
They are. They're trusting. They just let them walk right in.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, we're talking about other things that people can't afford. Some of the ticket prices for different things. Just wondering about what was going on with the valuation they were doing on some of the Inter Miami tickets and the fact that Lionel Messi hasn't played for many matches. So what is happening with that? And Brett, who's given us some explanations on the soccer tickets, was saying the tickets on resale were going for as low as $58 a day before the game. So those were secondary markets that people were trying to get the like $5,000 for seats and all that. But even official tickets are going for about $100. That's not cheap, but it's not the crazy number that gets talked about. So even in Messi's third or fourth game when he was playing, it was possible to buy official tickets for less than $200. Admittedly, this is for home games only. I'm not sure what the ticket prices are looking for, like for away games. I know in Los Angeles they were crazy when he played there. So that was pretty insane. And then the question was, I had seen some people on Twitter bitching about what Inter Miami wants now next year for season tickets. And some people were saying, well, is the dude going to play or not? So what's going on?
Yeah, it makes a big difference because if he is going to play, then the price goes up. But if he's not playing, the price goes down to below $50.
Yeah.
If I was the goalie and you had 5 shots to get it in the net,
Yeah.
what do you go? Do you go 5 for 5 against me, or do I block some shit against you? As if we are right now. If we went on a soccer field right now, I haven't been on a soccer field in such a long time. I say I block 3 of that shit. I think you get 2 in.
I say you don't block any of them. And I say I get 1 in, and that's only because I'm a shitty kicker.
So you missed the goal completely.
I missed the goal completely 4 times.
You punt it over.
And then the one time I get it by the goal, it just goes whiffing right by you.
I think that's a pretty
I
accurate
think it'd be
report.
such a poor demonstration of athletic ability.
That or our karate tournament we did.
That was a poor display of athletic ability.
By the way, that was live on the air.
That was ridiculous. Boy, we did some shitty radio. Yeah, so anyway, thank you very much. Brett goes on to offer up more explanations on soccer and why they do things like tournaments in the middle of the season and all that kind of stuff, and salary caps and all that. So thank you very much. It does help that you're giving me that, because I do need to get caught up on my soccer knowledge. I feel like, honestly, it's one of those things, you got to elevate your knowledge. It's going to become a bigger sport in America. I mean, just look how our demographics are changing.
I'm just saying, someone getting some traction in the chat room. I think people want to see the one-on-one soccer match between the Ralston versus the Bird.
Yeah, you think people are asking for that?
I saw 3 comments. That's all I needed. That's all I needed.
Sign him up.
It'd be fun to watch this. It'd be so bad.
That'd be fun.
so bad.
It's not hard to do. It's pretty easy.
No, we can do that. Yeah, one of these days. We'll get to it. We get a little bit of time. Another thing, too, always trying to upgrade my knowledge of Espanol, and there was a list from Daily Mail. They went off on what they said every country used predominantly for the term boobs, and I did not know. I was just asking, and Elizabeth, She said, Kevin, you were wrong about the boobs Brazilian nickname. Well, I'm just going with what they had said it was. They never use milk containers as a nickname for boobs. That would translate to jara de leite. That would get you slapped in the streets for saying that. We use meleo grande, big melons, or peito grande, big breast, or melancia gustosa, delicious watermelons.
Would it turn you on? I feel like titty is more sexual, like, play with my tits. But I think melons is almost kind of comical. You know what I mean? If a girl's like, "Oh, Jaybird, suck at my melons," it almost kind of sounds like we're doing
there's
a
lot
sketch
of
or something.
jokey. There's kid kind of sounding terms. Like, what would turn a woman on? What would be the phrase that you would use if you're in the bedroom, Virginia?
Vanilla Vanna over here.
Whatever. You don't know what I got cooking.
I mean, would it just be breasts? Would it be your boobs? Would it be your tits? What would you say if you wanted to be sensual in the bedroom? What would you call them?
Some women get turned on by the word tits.
I think tits is the most carnal and sexual.
Yes, I think that
let
can
me see them
turn.
titties.
I think it's gonna turn me on now.
Okay. Boing.
Show him your titties, Kev.
Pop him a Viagra and see what happens.
Melons is too comical. Jugs. Hey, Jaybird. Sucking my jugs. Okay. Waka waka.
Okay.
What about tatas?
I like puppies.
Play with my. That's still kind of. I think tits really is tits and maybe even boobs. I guess. But yeah, I think. See, tits is more carnal
boobs is
than
almost
titty.
I don't know. Boobs is almost a word that I don't feel is necessarily always sexy.
It's not. It's really not. But I think some people who are not comfortable with tits would say boob.
Tits, to me, feels like it's finely formed and isn't attractive because, not all breasts necessarily are.
And I feel like it's kind of like the whole, like, Danny versus Dan.
Yeah.
Titty is comical. Tit is carnal. See what I'm saying?
I do.
Like when you say milk jugs, I'm thinking like a lactating pregnant woman, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah.
I don't think I can. I don't know if there's another word that's sexy. Udders? No. At pillows?
No, udders, no.
Oh, Jaybird, yeah, suck on my pillows? No.
Even fun bags.
Fun bags?
It just sounds like they're big old.
Yeah.
Yeah, just no.
So we agree. Tit is the one carnal word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think titty works best.
Give us tit.
Tit. But titty's a little bit. All right.
Got an email from Jason. He said you guys were talking about that new feature. I think it was on a Chrysler or something like that, where you could put your purse in the dash. And what features would you want? He said there was a guy in Pompano about 30 years ago. He had a store called 007, and he used to put all kinds of like James Bond type stuff in cars.
Ooh, I love that. Yeah, it's called like aftermarket upgrades.
Yeah.
And that stuff is cool.
He did a flip down license plate, smoke screens, even a nail drop.
What?
The best of which he had secret compartments. Some of the compartments were even vacuum sealed and airtight so drug dogs couldn't smell the contraband in there.
Whoa.
The way they opened was even cool. You couldn't just hit a switch and it would open. The AC had to be on a certain temperature. The left turn signal had to be on, and then you would hit the toggle switch to open it.
That is some James Bond stuff.
Isn't that cool?
I just love secret compartments. I want to build a tunnel or a secret door in my house so bad.
That is so cool.
He said he did a Dodge Caravan where the whole dash moved up to be able to put numerous bricks of a certain substance in there. Then he got caught and was sent to federal prison. It was crazy.
Damn.
Whoa.
Yeah, if you get caught, you're in trouble. But if they don't catch you,
Secret compartments, secret rooms. I'm trying to figure out a way to make something secret in my house, even if it's just a secret microwave. I don't know, just something that's. Hey, look at this. It's a painting. No, it's not. It's a fucking microwave.
you been keeping any secret lovers?
I had zero time for. Barely time to masturbate. I'm off my schedule.
Got an email from Becky about situation we read today. I think it was the stepsister had a teacher that kept bringing her over and holding her hand and praying for her. And
yeah, holding the kids' hands and then having like a quiet, intimate moment, just the two of them. That's creepy.
Yeah, it felt like a grooming type situation. A lot of people felt, and just from what I've seen growing up in the church, I think, and even other people who were church going people were like, yeah, that it doesn't sound right. It sounds like more of a groomer type situation. Unfortunately, a lot of people will do that. They use the guise of it being religious or, something evoked from God to do their sinister acts. And Becky said, yeah, you need to email a counselor and administrator so it can't be ignored and covered up. He may stop with your daughter or your stepsister because she's protected and communicates with you, but he'll then move on to another child. So by him waiting until other people aren't around, he's being sneaky. He knows it's wrong. He should be kicked out of the school system so other creeper teachers see that there is zero tolerance for private time with kids. You have to set an example for the sister so that she recognizes predatory behavior. Yeah.
It's weird. Anytime, like I told you, that's happened to me and my buddies where someone came up and just out of the blue said, we'd like to pray for you guys. It's an awkward feeling because not everyone's into that. And even if you are into praying, which I am into doing that or for a meditation, it's a private thing for me at times, and I like to be kind of alone. So to kind of throw that on anybody is bizarre.
Yeah, it's not a flex that I would go with, and I would recognize that a lot of times you're going to make people very uncomfortable with that. And, to me, look, you can pray for somebody from a distance. So that is, like I said, on the regular show, the one thing that I had heard, and there are some interesting stories on it that I've heard through churches throughout the years, is some people, for some reason, all of a sudden feel compelled to give somebody some money, and then they'll be like, I don't know, I felt like God told me to give you this $100 or whatever. And it was kind of, some of those stories are kind of amazing. So hey, look, somebody wants to come up, God told me to give you $100, I'd be like, cool, peace. I'm okay with that. I'm not sure if a lot of people would complain on that one.
That person did bring up a valid point that I didn't think about a second ago. I was thinking, yes, I would go confront that teacher that was praying with my kid. But you're right. If I confront that teacher and now they don't pray with my kid anymore, they're going to move on to a new victim. Yep. And then I'm at fault for not exposing that predatory behavior to the administration.
The administration needs to know they have a teacher that's doing this.
Yes, I didn't think about it like that.
You're also not allowed to pray in public schools. I think it's against the guidelines. You're not supposed to mix that.
You're not supposed to lead prayer.
That's what I mean. Yes, that's what I meant.
And it's kind of something they're still trying to sort out even through the Supreme Court on just what you can do, because there was a football coach that was praying with his players, and I think he got fired, but then he got his job back. And so, that's, kind of, if you're at a secular or just a regular public school, it's kind of a tricky thing. But if you want to sit at your desk and pray and all that, they will not stop you from that.
Oh, I remember when I played on a baseball team, there was a group of the guys that wanted to pray, and there was probably like 5 that didn't. And it was right before the game. And the one praying team was kind of being pray bullies. And
which Jesus would not approve of.
Saying, we pray as a team. We're going to do it as a team. We're all going to pray together.
That's tough.
And the 5 were like, we're not fucking praying.
Jesus bullies.
It was Jesus bully. So now you got this Jesus fight prayer thing.
Yeah.
And we were like 0-5 at the time.
I don't think that's the way Jesus would want it.
No.
Typically what you see is and especially in college football, there's a lot of guys that will pray. What they do is when they run out of the tunnel, they'll run down to their end zone. They'll take a knee. They'll say their prayer alone, and then they'll go over to their sideline. And so you send the statement, you make your prayer, then you go hang with your team. But you're not forcing anyone on the team to pray with you.
Have you ever been at an uncomfortable dinner where the family loves prayer and you're there?
Yeah.
And they ask you to lead the prayer?
Oh, no.
Really?
No, they should not. Again, that's ridiculous, man. Like, there's so many religious people that just, like, what are you doing?
I think that happens, though, man.
No, that's crazy. You would. I mean, we'll have that, because we typically pray before we eat, and I keep them quick. And it is tough, because sometimes we'll have some friends around, but I'm like, excuse us real quick, and I just,
Do you always go with the same prayer, or you kind of mix it up?
It's normally pretty quick. Thanks for this food. Bless our bodies. Amen. That's about it. And then, my buddy Pastor Sean, he would just go to the king and point up, and that would be his prayer.
And then someone got confused, and they go, hey, I love Elvis too.
Right. That's what we're doing. We're thanking Elvis for this.
Thank you for the veggies. Thank you for the meat. Thank you, God. Now, let's eat.
Did you just make that up?
Would that work?
Did you just make that up?
As a religious prayer?
I don't. I don't know. I feel like
God would chuckle.
Well, I just feel like, if God did make me, gets my personality, or she gets my personality, entity gets my personality. Knows I'm a smart ass.
Another thing we'd had about schools this week was banning cell phones, something that they're going to be doing in the UK, and just how they're going to be doing that. Cesar from Green Acres, he said cell phones shouldn't be banned, but they should be restricted. In my oldest's high school, South Tech, most teachers have those plastic shoe racks you hang on a wall, and they have the outside of each pouch numbered and a corresponding card insert with the same number. The student then puts their phone in when they arrive, and they take that card insert out, and when class is over, they return the insert and take their phone. A program like this, I believe, works well and should be done across the board. We then had a lockdown 3 weeks ago with our middle schooler, and her cell phone was the only information we were getting, letting us know that she was okay. So they should be able to access them for emergencies. Yeah, it seems like a good compromise. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, if the phone is there in the room, emergency happens, boom, kid gets phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty simple thing, right?
Should be.
But is anything really, truly simple?
No, because we're going to fight about everything.
I mean, humans do love a fucking fight, man.
Yeah. So, I don't think they're there yet, but, I think they do need to come up with something. Kelly had said, hey, what are your thoughts on melatonin for kids? Bad idea? I don't really know. I'm not the guy to ask for that.
There's a TikTok. This kid went to school and he was doing art about what happens at home after school. And he said, when my mom has a guy coming over, she gives us melatonin gummies.
Yeah. Right?
That melatonin, it did not do anything to me.
I think it makes kids sleepy.
I'm sure it probably does kids because they're pure and innocent. They don't have all, it did nothing for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a question for your pediatrician, so I do not know.
Kids still getting down on them Flintstone vitamins?
Rocco takes them every day.
So it is a thing.
He doesn't like them because of the chalky taste, but he needs to take them because he was low in iron.
Denny's got a vitamin. It tastes like candy. It's really good.
Okay,
but you want to eat more and more.
Right.
But if you do, I think you're going to crap yourself.
I think so, yeah, because some of those vitamins, I know my parents used to get vitamin C, and I thought they were like the closest thing I'd get to candy, and I ate half a bottle and just shit my pants so hard. I mean, just like it didn't stop.
As Fat Kevin?
Oh, my gosh.
Poor
Yeah,
son of a bitch.
just terrible.
Yeah.
Cleansing of Fat Kevin.
Just terrible.
He unleashed.
I just want to hug that
I
kid.
didn't so bad. I think we had to get new carpet. It was just terrible. Just terrible.
And all you wanted was a snack.
Yeah, that was it.
Didn't
know when to say when.
It was probably fun for the first 10 minutes.
Delicious. They were orange flavored.
I get it.
I had a good time. Just got away from me. I learned a valuable lesson that day. Panchita said, you've heard of maternity leave. Now there's grandternity leave for grandparents. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense because, you do have a lot of situations where maybe the grandparents are the primary caregiver. And if that's the case, why not give them a little bit of time to get adjusted?
I love that.
Yeah, so interesting concept. Well, you gave us a lot to think about today. Appreciate all your emails. You can always send them to us at mail@kvjshow.com.
Damn, it's over?
It's over, dog.
I was just getting cooking.
That's it. So, yeah, tell the people send more emails, man.
Ugh, I still got pumpkin in my teeth.
Oh, boy. Oh, no. Oh, no, not pumpkin teeth.
Oh, boy, what are we going to do, Bird?
I lost a tooth.
Oh, no, get the emergency floss.
Oh, if you keep talking, we're going to bring out that lemon again. No.
Oh, what? No.
Not the lemon.
Oh, my gosh. All right, y'all have a good day. Goodbye.